Welcome to the RavensSpace on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is a RavensSpace Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single day. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll hop right into the news. Please subscribe to the RavensSpace on YouTube if you're not subscribed yet, and also follow us on all the different social media channels, and we'll hop right in. The first news story of the day that we're going to talk about is an article that comes from Baltimore Beatdown, and it asks, who is going to be the player that the Ravens missed the most? And so for you guys who know, several players left the Ravens this year. I'll name a few. Ricky Wagner, Kyle Juszczyk, Kamar Aiken, Timmy Jernigan, and Lawrence Guy. And so I'm not going to go over each one. I'm just going to go over who I think my choice will be. And please, in the comments, let me know who your choice is going to be as well. So I think out of all the players, the Ravens are going to miss Ricky Wagner the most. Now, it was between two choices for me. One was Ricky Wagner. The other one was Kyle Juszczyk. But I do think Danny Woodhead will replace the receiving portion of Juszczyk. We don't have a fullback yet that has proven it to me that they can be as good in blocking. But for the receiving, I think Danny Woodhead can do the job. But Ricky Wagner, last year was a great player. Again, started off slow like the rest of our offensive line. But as the season went on, he became a consistent pass blocker, and he became better and better at run blocking. And so I was very, very sad to see him leave. Before, I thought he was the most important free agent that we had, because I thought that Michael Pierce could replace Brandon Williams, especially after Brandon Williams was coming off of a down year. But Ricky Wagner, the Ravens still don't have a replacement for him. And I knew it was going to be a tough free agency for tackles. So when I saw Ricky Wagner leave, I didn't know who the Ravens could find to replace him, which they haven't replaced him yet. So there's still some free agents available like King Dunlap and Orlando Franklin. But again, they're still not as good as Ricky Wagner was. And so I'm a little worried. There's rumors that they're going to kick Alex Lewis to that tackle spot. But like I said, we don't know until they do it. But I'm pretty sure reports will be coming out soon about what they're going to do about that. Because as you know, OTAs started today. But that's what my choice is. Ricky Wagner is the biggest loss for the Baltimore Ravens this offseason. Again, the Detroit Lions scooped them up for a lot of money. And when the money is calling, you got to take it. Wagner signed a 5-year, $47.5 million deal, which makes him the highest paid right tackle in the NFL. You can't say no to that. So he's in Detroit, and now we don't have a right tackle. So again, let me know in the comments who your pick is, because I'll respond to you in the comments. The next story, it talks about the top 5 players to watch in OTAs. Again, OTAs started today. And there's 5 players that Pressbox has listed for who to watch. And of these 5 players, again, I'm going to name them, but I'm only going to pick one who I think is the person that we all should be watching closely. So the top 5 players are Kamalei Correa, who plays inside linebacker, Keenan Reynolds, who's a returner / receiver, Zadarius Smith, who's an outside linebacker, Brent Urban, who's a defensive end, and John Urschel, who's a center. Now, for me, this is between Kamalei Correa and between John Urschel. I think the player that we should be watching, though, is Kamalei Correa. And again, if I'm pronouncing his first or last name wrong, forgive me. But I think that Correa plays a good role on our defense. Zach Orr played great last year, and I was honestly surprised how well he played. And he made the defense come together. And so I think if Correa can step in and get as many tackles as Orr did, the Ravens will have the best defense in the National Football League. Right now, there's very little weak spots on the Ravens defense. I think that we added corners in the safety, which shows up the DBs. I think Brandon Williams was a signing that shored up the defensive tackle position. Again, Chris Wormley, I love that draft pick. He's going to show up one of the end positions. Brent Urban has to rise to the occasion. but he can help with that other end position. And then you just have your linebackers. You have Terrell Suggs, who, will always give you everything he has and will always be a good player. Might not be a great player anymore, but he'll be good. And you have the questions at a weak side linebacker and outside linebacker opposite Terrell Suggs. So it matters how they perform, because Moses is going to be great. So it just matters how they perform. And Kamalei Correa, if he can help stop the run and even perform the pass coverage, like I think he can. I think he's a great pass coverage linebacker, but he just has to be able to come up and stop, big running backs in the run game, especially in the division where we play against Le'Veon Bell twice a year. So, like I said, that's my player to watch, Kamalei Correa. So I think he'll have to have a good season if the Ravens want to be one of the best defensive teams in the NFL this year, and I think he can do it. Let me know who you think the player to watch and OTAs are in the comments below. And the last story of the day is a story it's a little bit more fun, but a little worrisome as well. And it's the top 100 players of 2017. NFL.com, NFL Network runs this poll that they poll actual NFL players, and they say which ones are the top players in the NFL. And now it's a little bit skewed, of course, right? Because, for example, Jets players might not vote for Tom Brady, right? Stuff like that, right? So it's a little skewed, but it shows you, one, who the players in NFL respect. And it also shows you what positions and what is valued in the NFL. And so, as you know, quarterbacks are there heavy. But running back has made a return this year, to a higher number. So it shows that, with high profile running backs performing well, that the NFL is kind of respecting them more than they did a couple years ago. And the issue is they've done all the way to 61, and there's no Baltimore Ravens on the list. So it has people a little worried that we might be getting snubbed, not out of it completely, but that we'll only have a couple of players on the list. And a couple of years ago, I believe we had the most players on the list. So, and that's when Haloti Ngata was playing, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, all those people. We had the most players on the list. But now I think we're going to have maybe the least players on the list. And so I just want to talk it through with you guys, because I know, one, Joe Flacco is going to be on the list, I would think. Two, Justin Tucker is going to be on the list. There's already a kicker on the list. So if that kicker is on the list, Justin Tucker has to be on the list, right? So boom. Marshall Yonder is going to be on the list. So that's three. So that's three players that we have on the list. And then on defense, you have Eric Weddle, who will be on the list, and I think CJ Mosley. So I think there'll be 5 players on the list. And Joe Flacco might be a little touch and go, because the way that Joe Flacco played last year, I don't know if the other players in the NFL respect that. But again, Kirk Cousins is on the list. So if Kirk Cousins is on the list, then I think Joe Flacco's on the list. Tucker, Yonda, and Weddle are dead locks on the list. That's not even a question. And CJ Mosley, I hope is on the list. If he's not on the list, that's a massive disappointment, because he played great last year, and he was the middle linebacker for one of the top defenses in the league. So that would be a bummer. But that's what I think. Those are my 5 who I think will be on the list. So Ravens fans, don't fret, don't worry. We will have representation on the list. Again, if you think I forgot somebody, let me know. The other person that was on the outside looking in was Brandon Williams, because offensive linemen respect him, so they might have gave him a vote. But I don't know if the rest of the league as a whole understands or respects his game. So again, let me know how you feel about that in the comments below. My 5 players who I know will be on the list are Joe Flacco, Justin Tucker, Marshall Yonda, CJ Mosley, and Eric Weddle. And like always, we finish up our show with a mailbag question. Again, we just released an episode of Mailbag Mondays on TheRavensSpace. So please go check that video out. Awesome videos. I love answering you guys' questions. But this question for today is from Carson. And Carson asks, how many more seasons do you think Joe Flacco has in the NFL? Love the videos. Thank you so much, Carson. I truly appreciate it. So I would say about another 5 or 6 seasons. Joe Flacco's currently 32. I don't think he'll be playing till 40. But he doesn't feel old either. So I think after this contract is up, they might renew him for another 4-year contract. So I would say 4 or 5. Again, I don't think he'll play till 40, but I do think that he doesn't feel old. I think he does love the game of football, and he's a strong, big. And so I think that if he wants to play with the Ravens, they'll renew his contract. They might give him a 3-year deal or something after this contract. He's made plenty of money. He's not right now. He's not at the top of his game. So I just don't know where the negotiation is going to take place. But I do believe that Ozzie will let him go before making a bad deal. If they did it to Haloti Ngata, right, who they loved, like, Ozzie loved Haloti Ngata, they'll do it to Joe Flacco. I think if they can get Joe for, a 3-year deal after his contract, they'll do it. Joe will be happy with that. Play, give it another chance to finish, get another ring. I think that's what would happen. So I would say that Joe Flacco has about 5 more seasons that he'll play, Carson. So thank you so much for your question. I'm a big Joe Flacco fan, so I hope to watch him as long as I can. I'm happy that the Ravens finally got a franchise quarterback after years before where we didn't have one and we were kind of renting quarterbacks. And thank you so much, guys, for watching this RavensSpace Daily. Again, please subscribe to the RavensSpace YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, we have more news coming, so I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.